All right. Welcome, Fasttrack parents and guardians, to, I guess, the second parents and guardians video for Fasttrack. The first one was more of an introduction. Today, I am privileged to be joined by two wonderful guests, and they are going to talk, and then I'm going to answer your questions. I've got them printed off right here. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guests. First, we have Miss Amber Nichols-Buckley. She is a Writing 101 instructor. And Amber, you recently earned a new distinction. Would you mind sharing with everyone what that is?
Yes, I'm so excited to be this year's recipient for our Kaiser Award for outstanding teaching in the department. So I was just thrilled. I found out just within the last week or so. And this is a student nominated award, so I'm excited about it.
Well, congratulations. Certainly well deserved. I can vouch for that. As I've told a lot of you parents when we've corresponded in the last several months, that the University of Mississippi in Oxford is known as kind of a literary hub globally, and therefore we attract a lot of excellent writers, and then a lot of excellent writing teachers as well. And thankfully, with the partnership with Dr. Stephen Monroe, the chair of the Department of Writing and Rhetoric, who at one time was the director of FASTtrack, we handpick the absolute best, in my opinion, writing instructors to teach our FASTtrack students. And so honored that Ms. Nichols-Buckley could represent them and answer some questions about Writing 101 today. Also, I'm thrilled to be joined by Shannon Richardson. She is an assistant director in Campus Rec. Dr. Richardson has been on campus for a long time, is going to talk to you all about what is available to your students just in general via Campus Rec, but in particular how things are being done in this quote unquote time of uncertain times. As we know, the pandemic is causing all types of challenges. Dr. Richardson and I were talking offline, and we talked about how there are so many things about just being at the university right now. There's so many questions and so many issues that students are having that under any other circumstance, the answers we're giving or the things we're asking students to do would be unacceptable. We wouldn't do that. We're all about caring for the whole person at this university, and we're still doing that, but we are having to make a lot of adjustments and be creative during this plague. So first, I'm going to let Ms. Nichols-Buckley talk a little bit about Writing 101, and then Dr. Richardson's going to go, and then I'm going to answer your questions. So Ms. Nichols-Buckley, the floor is yours.
All right, well, I'll take it. First, I want to thank Gray for inviting me today. I am just one of a bigger team of instructors for what we call FastTrack Writing 101 and 102, the sequence. We have been hand-selected in the Department of Writing and Rhetoric to work with your students, to challenge them, but also support them in their transition to college writing, which we know especially this first experience as a freshman is such an important experience as they transition into the kind of academic work they're going to be expected to do in college. I've noticed too, my students have started their blog spaces, which is these are their journals, and they've been writing a lot about the struggle to transition to such rigorous work after sort of being out of school since March of this year. And so we have a special challenge for us this semester as we help students kind of navigate what college work is going to be like. Just a little bit about our team. We meet frequently. We actually had a meeting just yesterday. We share resources. We work together to design our classes. So there's a lot of similarity between all of the FastTrack classes. We really prize engaging communities of learning that emphasize critical thinking and research, and also writing as a process that encompasses lots of modes. So it's not just the traditional essay, and we write for various audiences as well. We are also actively engaged in working with our FASTtrack academic mentors. So there's this beautiful partnership. I've had the pleasure of working with Gray, for instance, for years now. So we set up this really great collegial relationship between these mentors. So if we are worried about how a student might be doing or feeling like a student might need some extra supports, we have that person to depend on. So we've already started linking up with our mentors and started some of that work even just 2 weeks into the semester. Gray wanted me to share a little bit about what you might do as parents to support your students right now. Currently, we're all in Unit 1, which for most of us is looking at our common read, which is the book What the Eyes Don't See by Dr. Mona Hanna-Attisha. The students are doing well with this book so far, but that's sort of where we are, doing a lot of critical reading, talking about how you synthesize sources, that sort of thing. What you could do for students, to be honest, is maybe encourage them to sort of map out for you where they go for their different class materials. So a lot of students right now are struggling with Blackboard, how to navigate, okay, for this class, how do I find my calendar, or how do I find important due dates or whatever. And because so much of our learning is remote, they can get really confused about that, especially if they aren't used to a lot of online learning. So maybe just having them walk you through, well, this is my day to day. This is where I go for my writing work, and this is how many hours I spend on that. Also, maybe help them to develop a time management plan. I've been encouraging students, we do weekly goals. So we set academic, social, and personal goals each week. And then the next week on that next Monday, we check in. How did you do with those goals? And what are some new goals you need to make for the week? And a lot of that students talk about they've got to figure out their time management. So you might work with them on developing that kind of plan. And then please encourage them to reach out to their professors. A lot of students feel intimidated to do that, to show up for office hours, especially now that most office hours are virtual for many of us. Please encourage them. We are not scary. We are here to help them. We want to be compassionate listeners, and we want to support their transition. And if we don't have the answers, we will find out who can provide those answers for them. So that's just a little bit about the writing program. And I just want to thank Gray for letting me be a part of today.
Fantastic, Ms. Nichols-Buckley. Thank you so much for giving us a moment of your time this morning. And yeah, writing, we believe writing 101. In Fasttrack, we believe writing 101 and 102 are critical and integral to success at the university. Whether I like to tell people, whether you're majoring in accounting and zoology or anything in between, you're going to need to learn how to write well to do to persist and graduate from the University of Mississippi. And while a lot of students maybe come in with some credits or some other experiences with writing, the reality is we believe that learning how to write under the tutelage of these excellent writing instructors like Ms. Nichols-Buckley will allow students to write in such a way, not just this semester and not just next semester, but throughout their entire time at the university, in such a way that the professors at this university across disciplines, they come to expect. You're getting, your student is getting the best instruction, and it may be difficult at first to grasp, but it's going to be something that's really going to truly help them flourish at the university. So thank you so much for your time. I think she's going to get off now. Yes. And we're going to turn it over to Dr. Richardson with Campus Recreation.
Bye, guys.
All right, Dr. Richardson, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today. And I'm excited to talk to the Fasttrack parents and guardians about campus recreation. So again, I'm Shannon Richardson. I'm an assistant director here with Campus Rec, and I've been here at the university for 15 years. It's hard to believe. So I've seen a lot of changes, great changes. We just opened up our brand new South Campus Recreation Center last year in August. So it's only a year old, and we still have another facility called the Turner Center. And I'll talk to you a little bit about how your student can access both facilities. So a little bit about campus recreation. We are, as Dr. Flores said earlier, we care about the entire person of the student. And so wellness and recreation is integral to a student's success here at the university. If they're not able to maintain a good level of health, then they're not going to be able to study and to persist here at the university. So we encourage all students to reach out, explore what's available here within campus recreation. We really feel that there's something for everyone. So we have our fitness spaces, and within fitness spaces, we have group fitness classes. And I'll talk about how to access those in just a minute. We also have intramural sports and sport clubs. So intramural sports are, students here at the university competing against one another in various sports like flag football, basketball. And these are traditional sports. Obviously right now in the time of COVID, it looks a little bit different, but we still offer competitive sports even this fall semester. And I'll get into those in just a second. We also have aquatics. So we have an Olympic size swimming pool in the Turner Center with lanes, lap swimming, shallow and deep water. So whatever type of swimming you're into, we have that available. We have resources with wellness education. The William McGee Center for Wellness Education partners with us on a lot of things. So they offer, safe spaces to talk through issues like drug and alcohol concerns. They provide wellness education classes to students and student organizations. So we have a really great relationship with that unit as well. And then I like to save outdoor recreation for last because that is what I supervise specifically. And I have obviously a great love for outdoor recreation. So we provide outdoor recreation trips, adventure trips. So typically we'll do, whitewater kayaking, backpacking. We do a winter ski trip usually. We've gone dog sledding before. We are, yes, we are very much about the education component of these trips. So students learn skill sets that they normally wouldn't probably learn in the classroom. And it's just an amazing adventure for the students to go on. They're led by other students that are trained through our department. And so we really value that trip experience. And so we encourage your student to reach out to the outdoor rec program and see what's available. Let me talk a little bit about facilities now. So I mentioned we have 2 rec centers. We have the South Campus Recreation Center, which is where I'm at right now. Brand new facility, amazing, just infrastructure. It was an old Whirlpool plant at one time, and the designers created just an outstanding renovation that encompasses 2 stories of fitness equipment, cardio machines, free weights. We have a climbing wall, 35-foot climbing wall, bouldering wall. We have a track, an indoor track. We have 2 full basketball courts. We have a multi-access court, which we play indoor soccer and roller hockey, things like that. We have a turf area that our students can do functional trainings such as CrossFit type activities. It's an indoor and outdoor turf area. So we offer a lot of different things that are state of the art. We've been featured in the campus recreation magazines across the nation. So we really feel like this building is absolutely flagship material within recreational centers across the nation. The Turner Center, we still have that building's a little bit older. It was built in '83, and it also houses health, exercise science, and rec management. So it's a dual, it's a shared facility with the academic side, but we also have a fitness center in that building. I mentioned the pool earlier in the bottom floor, and then we have several courts and group fitness studios within that facility, as well as our intramural sports and sport clubs office. So this fall, things are working a little bit differently. Normally students could come in and just walk right into the rec center with their student ID. They do have to have their student ID to swipe through. That's one thing you should remind them of. And then they would just be able to come in and use whatever equipment is available. Right now, in the time of COVID, we do ask that students register on the Campus Recreation app. And this app is designed to help us maintain appropriate level numbers of people in the building per the governor's orders of certain limitations on the number of people in any kind of recreation facility. In the South Campus Rec Center, we can have up to 68 people at any given time. So when students access their app and they click on the date that they want to come and recreate, and I'm hoping you can see this, there's a list of different zones. Well, there's a list of times. So we're open from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Throughout the day, there's a list of times that you can sign up for a session. And so students will sign up for a time, they'll show up, we'll check them in. They have an hour to, do whatever they want to do within their zone, and then they head out. We clean every 30 minutes between sessions. I'm telling you, this is the cleanest facility that you could find anywhere. So we are very diligent about, keeping our students and our patrons safe within the facility. It's gone really, really well so far. Sessions do fill up, so we encourage students to sign up as quick as possible. Sessions open at noon the day before. So if I were going to try to pick a time for tomorrow, at noon today, I could get on and sign up for a time. That works for both the South Campus Recreation Center and the Turner Center. We've converted the Turner Center court number 4 into cardio areas. So we've taken some of the equipment out of the fitness center and actually spaced it out in court 4 of the Turner Center. So that's another recreation space. And all of those sessions, all of those spaces are listed on the app. So the main things I would like to leave you with is make sure your student has downloaded the CR app and becomes familiar with that. They'll bring their sign up, and then they'll bring their student ID. They'll also need to bring their water bottle. We have bottle filling stations, but the water fountains are offline right now. The other thing I'd like to mention is ask your student to take a look at our website. It has all of the information about all of our programs, events, and facilities. Literally, if they can't find it on the website, then they absolutely can reach out to one of us. Our staff directory is on there. But then also following our website is campusrec.olemiss.edu. And again, you can navigate through the different programs. We also would encourage students to follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And so you'll be apprised of everything that's upcoming if you'll give us a follow, give us a like on social media. And we would love to see your student, no matter where they're at fitness-wise, no matter if they've ever stepped into a fitness center before, or if they're an elite athlete. We want your student to come check out what we have to offer and let us help them maintain their wellness journey while in college. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Richardson. So they can just search students. I'll link all of you guys' social media and website in the comment section right under this video when it is on YouTube. Please subscribe if you haven't already. A couple things. So with the app, so the student just searches Campus Rec in the App Store, or what do they search? I'll link the app, but just curious.
Sure. They'll just search Ole Miss Campus Rec.
Ole Miss Campus Rec, okay, in the App Store. Got it.
And it's a CR.
It's a CR like that. Okay,
yep.
Got it. Yeah, we can see that. Okay, good deal. Also, before I let you go, we all know that, unfortunately, and again, this is not the way the University of Mississippi likes to deliver classes under any other circumstances. I know I wasn't around during the outbreak in 1912. My hairline may suggest I was, but I wasn't. This is totally unprecedented. We realized that we were asking your child to be in their dorm room a lot more than we normally would. And I believe that makes exercise and getting out amongst people in a safe way even that much more important. Could you talk about maybe like the link between what you guys offer and just an individual's overall mental health?
Absolutely. Yes, that's a great point. So, studies and research has proven that daily or every other day exercise, and I don't mean, an hour hardcore workout. I mean, going out for a walk, just something to get the body moving. It releases endorphins, it helps with stress management, and it obviously helps keep us physically fit. And so we are trying our best to provide safe opportunities for students to continue that recreation process. And so it does look different, like Dr. Flora mentioned. Right now we sign up for times and that kind of thing, but you still get an hour's worth of workout socially distanced from your peers to be able to maintain that health and wellness. Now, I failed to mention, and I should have mentioned this right off the bat, we also have a lot of outdoor spaces. So if a student's not comfortable coming indoors to our rec centers, we also have spaces. We have several fields that students can go and jog around the field or do any kind of fitness workout on their own outdoors. So we have a field right outside the South Campus Rec Center. We also have one at the Intramural Field Complex, which is located just a little bit down the street from the Turner Center. And again, that's all on the website. If you check out the Outdoor Rec Sports Complex, we have an outdoor fitness station called the Fit Rig, and it's just like this huge adult jungle gym. Cargo net, monkey bars, balance beams, that kind of stuff. So students can go out. We do ask that you continue to socially distance outdoors as well. But that is a great space. It's not overcrowded. And then there's the fields as well. We also have a disc golf course. So if your student enjoys disc golf or just wants to check it out, the Ole Miss Outdoors office does offer disc golf rentals. We have a full, I think it's a nine hole course out by the Intramural fields. It's a really great way to just get out, get into the trees, throw your discs, enjoy nature at the same time. And then we have the South Campus the South Campus Rail Trail.
And I was going to bring that up. Those are great.
Yes. Okay. That is my favorite place in Oxford. It is my safe haven, and it is for a lot of people. We have a ton of students that go, and they'll go with a good friend, a close friend that they're in contact with right now. They'll enjoy the trail. It is adjacent from the South Campus Rec Center. So you can actually park in the South Campus Rec Center parking lot or along the road that leads up to it and access the trailhead. The trailhead's visible, but once you get into the trail, it's just a great escape from pavement and infrastructure. You're in the trees. It's shaded for most of the way. It's a wide rail bed trail. So it used to be an old railroad track bed. And so this trail is, plenty wide enough for people passing each other within, 6 feet, very safe distance. We also have single track bike trails that offshoot from the main trail. And so there's just a ton of space out there for folks to just enjoy nature, get away from it. And that is so important for mental health as well as physical. The trail map is also on the website. So Dr. Flora is going to link that. But if you have any questions about the trail system, if you stay on the main trail, it's 2.5 miles in, and then you turn around and come 2.5 miles back. So you can do a 5-mile trek if you'd like. There are mile markers along the way and a kiosk so that you understand where you're at and, maintain trail etiquette. People go with their dogs on. The dogs have to be on a leash. It's just a great spot to enjoy some of the greener parts of our campus. It is university property, so it's kind of a hidden jewel.
Yeah, that's awesome. It is fantastic for sure. 2 last questions for you. Number 1, so when students are indoors, using your facilities, are masks required?
That's a great question.
Okay.
Masks are required to enter the facility and as you're moving throughout. However, when you get to your station, if you're on a treadmill or another piece of cardio equipment, or you're lifting free weights, dumbbells, barbells, pin selectorized equipment, when you get to that station, you can then, if you choose, take down your mask. We've researched a lot of and done a lot of benchmarking, and we feel that that is the safest way for students to recreate, so that if they're in their space, they will, we don't want to impact their breathing, obviously, while they're exercising, but their distance, we ask that, students stay at least 6 feet apart. And then when they're moving throughout the facility, then they have their face covering back up.
Okay, great. And lastly, for students that would prefer to take the bus, I know that most of the parents that will be watching, parents and guardians that will be watching this video, their students are housed in freshman housing on campus. What's the best way to get to both the Turner Center and the South Campus Rec, the South Campus Rec facility? I know that you're probably going to say the Turner Center, the best way to do is to walk, which I talk to students a lot about. I say, walking is part of college. We have to wear comfortable shoes when we're going to class, when we're navigating things. And it's one of those things that a lot of students maybe kind of bristle at first, but especially right now, it's a good thing to be out walking.
Oh yeah, vitamin D, getting that sunshine when it is sunny. And I realize, times when it's raining, it might be a little bit more challenging. Mm-hmm. But I think our university administration has done a really nice job of making it a pedestrian and bicycle friendly campus. So I would suggest looking into getting a bike if if you feel like you're strapped for time and you may not make it across campus from your residence hall. Maybe think about a bike. The university has a bike share program, so look into that. But the walk is not bad from the residential area of campus to the Turner Center. It's maybe 7 minutes. So getting some fresh air, getting that warm, you can think of it as a warm up to get to the rec center. Right, if you go to the Turner Center, that is actually also where the bus hub is. Right across the street, there's an observatory. And that is where the bus makes their loop to the center of campus. They can take, I think it's the Silver Line, but check the Out Bus website. I don't know if they've changed the names of the routes lately, but there's a bus that goes from that observatory right across from the Turner Center to the South Campus Recreation Center and back. It's a really quick loop trip. The South Campus Rec Center is probably just under a mile from the Turner Center, but it is across, it does cross over Highway 6. So Chucky Mullins is the road that connects campus to the South Campus Rec Center. I would advise that students exercise caution when crossing that bridge. It is not very pedestrian friendly, unfortunately. There's not a pedestrian lane. So if a student is wanting to come either to the trail or the South Campus Rec Center, I would recommend that they ride the bus. The buses are very clean and very safe. They're distanced. The drivers are wearing masks. They're cleaned very regularly, and the bus drivers are super friendly. And it's a very quick trip from the observatory to the South Campus Rec Center and back.
Okay. Well, Dr. Richardson, I can't thank you enough for your time. I know that I'm speaking on behalf of all the parents and guardians and students that may be watching this video, and we say thank you so much for all the extra effort you guys are doing to provide this critical part of learning for our students in college during this pandemic especially. We thank you for all of those extra measures you guys are putting in place and for your time today. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's my pleasure. And please reach out to any of us over here in Campus Rec. We are here for your student, and we want to serve them and to help them navigate through this time. We'll find them something that they can get plugged into.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye. All right. So Dr. Richardson and Ms. Nichols-Buckley are now off the call. So it's just me and you in my coming to you live from my bedroom. We at FastTrack are working remotely almost exclusively, there is some times where we're maybe in our office for a few minutes between classes if we teach classes, getting things ready. But I want to move right now into the questions that you guys have submitted. Thank you for those submissions and thank you for those emails. Please keep them coming. As you know, my email address is gray@olemiss.edu, and I'm working diligently to make sure I thoroughly answer your questions via email in a timely manner. But I also know that, and part of the purpose of these videos is that a lot of questions that parents and guardians are having that they're asking for about their student are really relevant and helpful to so many other students. So this is a great way for us to disseminate that information to you. And again, we're starting this now in the midst of this pandemic, but we hope to keep this going soon after, or long after this plague has left us. So let's go ahead and get into the questions. Okay, the first one I have, and excuse me if I'm not looking at the screen, I'm going to be reading off this sheet down here. The first question is, I would like to know how much FastTrack helps students. If they need help with Blackboard or getting everything organized, if that's something FastTrack does. So each FastTrack student has an academic mentor assigned to them. I mentor 4 sections. We have several other excellent, caring staff members that monitor all of our FastTrack sections, that monitor each FastTrack student. Now, you know, what the academic mentor student relationship looks like can be, varies from student to student. But one thing that is absolutely true is that we are here to serve all students and meet them where they are. And so if a student has questions about things like getting organized or Blackboard, that is something that we are trying to make sure we cover in their EDHE 105 section. But if a student wants extra help with that, or just has questions that maybe they don't feel comfortable asking in front of the whole class in EDHE 105 or in one of their other classes where Blackboard is utilized, they can absolutely reach out to their academic mentor. So how does your student find out who their academic mentor is? Well, for a lot of students, their EDHE 105 class is taught by their academic mentor. So for instance, I teach 2 sections, section 128, section 123 of EDHE 105, and our other mentors also teach multiple sections. But because we can't teach 4 classes and fit because of scheduling, we do have partner faculty, which are other excellent, well-vetted, credentialed instructors that are employed elsewhere at the university that partner with our program to teach EDHE 105. And they have all, and if your child has one of those instructors, first of all, they're very lucky because they're all excellent, but also their EDHE 105 instructor has communicated to them in some form or fashion who their academic mentor, who their FastTrack academic mentor is, and provided contact information. For instance, for my class, the 2 sections I mentor that I do not teach, both of those instructors have shared a video with their classes saying, that I made, introducing myself, giving my contact information, etc., and encouraging them to reach out to me. I think as you all know, as parents and guardians, we all have many skills. Some are better than others, but one of them that I can assure you none of our mentors have is the ability to mind read, right? We need to know how we can be helpful to your students. We're going to reach out. We're obviously able to monitor all of our FastTrack students' grades and absences and things of that nature, but we need to know how we can be helpful. So absolutely, we can help students with things like organization and answer Blackboard questions and troubleshoot in a lot of different ways. We're glad to do that. That's why we're in this work, because we really love working with young people. as they make the successful transition from high school to college. And also in their other classes, if maybe they have really specific questions about navigating things online for their classes, I really recommend that they email their professor. We have an amazing group of faculty members at this university. I really, truly believe that. I've been at a lot of other institutions, and I know that, and I'm confident that our professors do really care about serving students, and they also recognize that a lot of this technology that we're asking students to utilize in order to be safe during this pandemic is new and maybe a little intimidating. And so the best thing your child can do is let their professors know that they exist, that they're trying to do the work the best they can, and that they might have questions. It's really helpful, especially right now in these first, we're just finishing our second week of classes. It's really great for them to go ahead and reach out to all their professors, even if it's just to introduce themselves and say hello via email, or even during a Zoom during the professor's office hours. It's really helpful to do that before there's some kind of issue or problem in their class. If they already have one, that's fine. But it's just always helpful to do that on the front end if they can. Okay, can you elaborate? It's a question 2. Can you elaborate on the tutoring or academic assistance that is available to FastTrack students? So we offer tutoring for the DS099 math class, and for Chemistry 101 through some FastTrack alums that help out with that, or that are trained to tutor in those sections. And that information is available on our website for those classes. As it pertains to other classes at the university, as far as tutoring goes, one thing that an academic mentor can help a student with is help navigate figuring out how to find a tutor for the subject which they feel like they need some extra help in. Now, it depends department by department what kind of tutoring is offered. For instance, the math department has an entire portion of their website dedicated to tutoring, and normally those tutoring sessions are offered in person and the basement of the library, but during the pandemic, they're going to be offered online. But tutoring is offered for all math classes at the University of Mississippi. If you just go to math.olemiss.edu, you can navigate it from there. But in other instances where students might feel like they need a tutor, the best thing they can do is, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record a little bit, but reaching out to their instructor. To their instructor, their professor in that class, letting them know that they want a little extra help, and the professor is going to be able to refer them to someone that might be able to help them. Now, some of those tutoring services will be something that are charged for. Some of them will be free. It just kind of depends. We're happy to help navigate kind of asking those questions and getting the best information, finding the best fit for a tutor for a student. That's something your academic mentor can help with. But again, we have to be reached out to know that's something that you're interested in. Okay. This is a great question, number 3. When it's time to enroll for my second semester freshman year, will my child be directed by a FastTrack advisor again? The answer is yes. So we have, in my opinion, I admit a little bias here. We have the 2 best academic advisors on campus that help our students pick out classes that are going to be the best fit for them right now, but also the best fit for the major they are thinking they want to have here at the university, the degree they're trying to go for. Their names are Miss Jackie Certain and Miss Brandy Bradley. Your student was reached out to and advised by them for this fall semester for the classes they're currently in, and that they will continue to be their advisor this spring for the spring semester, helping them get spring semester classes. So sometime late September, early October, they need to be on the lookout for their Ole Miss email. Again, I tell students all the time, their email address, they need to embrace that their email address is at go.olemiss.edu, and they need to be checking that consistently throughout the day. It needs to be on their phone. They need to have ready access to it. They need to be sure to respond to it and kind of, tend it like a garden, if you will. So Jackie or Brandy will reach out to your child about setting up a one-on-one meeting, usually via Zoom, to identify what courses they need for the spring. And again, while we know a lot of students already have an idea of what they want to major in, we do have plenty of students that are not sure. Maybe they have a general idea of where they see themselves going, but they don't have a specific major nailed down just yet. And that's totally fine. That's very normal for a freshman. And Ms. Jackie and Ms. Brandy can help them take classes to set them up to be in a lot of different types of majors, if that makes sense. So it's not so much that like you have to know, oh, I'm a managerial finance major. If you know that maybe you want to be in the business field some way, a lot of the classes you're going to take in your freshman year are gen ed, but there are a few that you need to maybe go ahead and get under your belt if that's something you think you might be interested in. So Miss Jackie, Miss Brandy are just wonderful, caring people, but they're also really responded via email and are happy to answer questions, and they have a lot of knowledge about all different types of majors and making sure that your child is set up to go into that major as a sophomore. So not only will Ms. Jackie, Ms. Brandy have a one-on-one meeting with your child to set up their classes for the spring of 2021, they will also reach out to your students in the spring and help them make a class schedule for fall 2021. So it doesn't just stop with this next semester. We want to make sure we set them up to get raring to go on their sophomore year as well. Okay, next one. This is from a student. Some of these questions are a little longer, and I've kind of edited them to protect people's anonymity, but I just feel like it's really helpful for you all to hear some of the questions some of your peer parent and guardians are asking, because I think it could be helpful to a lot of people. So these parents are saying, we completely understand the need to have classes in an alternative delivery mode, online, hybrid, remote, with the current public health crisis. Provided that the pandemic is under control, what is the plan for second semester? And if COVID-19 cases stay the same or continue to rise, can we expect the class delivery method to be the same or different? So the short answer to that is something that I know is never fun to hear when you're really wanting answers to the questions, or particularly when it's about your child. I have 2 children of my own, and I am always wanting the best information and want people to give me straight answers when I have any questions about something that affects them. And I totally empathize and get that. And what I can say right now is the University of Mississippi, if you look across the country, the way we are handling this pandemic is strikingly similar, if not, carbon copy of what every other major public university in the United States is handling it. So as far as spring 2021, we don't have those answers yet. We're not sure what that's going to look like. We're going to have to see what happens with the virus. We do know that we all are following the news right now that there is some hope for a vaccine relatively soon, and we'll just have to see when that happens. And I think the more, we all had to go on, all of us had to go online in March, back when your child was still in high school, and deliver courses in an alternative format then. And I think we've all gotten better at that for this fall, and we're going to continue to find ways to critique and best deliver classes to your students in a safe way. I do know we have a really caring administration that wants very, very, very much to have in-person classes as soon as it is safe to do so. And we're following the directions of the federal guidelines as well as the state guidelines for the state of Mississippi, and the Institutions of Higher Learning, which is the board that oversees the 8 public universities in Mississippi. And we're going to, all I can tell you is we are all itching to go to get back to normal here and to serve your students in person much more than we're able to right now. And you guys on this email chain that I have and in these videos, you're going to be the first to know as things hopefully gradually get back to normal operations. Okay, next question. My question is related to COVID and how it's affecting operations at the university, specifically relating to housing and food service. My student happens to be in a residence hall and their entire floor is currently quarantined. My concerns are less about curriculum delivery and FASTtrack, but more about potential shutdown of housing and food service, especially since we are a 13-hour drive away. So we have, FASTtrack has students from all over the country and even internationally that we serve. And so we recognize that some of you that are watching this video may be right here in Oxford, and some of you may be, as this person, a 13-hour drive away. I've heard that if the school shuts down housing and food service by September 30th, there will be no refunds. Is there any validity to that specific question? So at this point, no, that is not something that anyone at the university, and I've talked to people in campus dining specifically, that they anticipate happening. I think as you see right now, as this question indicated, we are taking a lot of precautions when it comes to quarantine floors or people that have been in contact with people that have tested positive for COVID-19. And all of those extra measures and all of those logistics are being done when we recognize it could be just easier just to, kind of move everything online. And I'm not saying that won't happen. I wish I could guarantee it wouldn't. But as you can see by the fact that we're quarantining floors, that we're quarantining people that have been not just tested positive, but have been in contact with those who've tested positive, we're working really hard. The university is working really hard to keep this campus open. And I think you can be encouraged by the fact that we're taking all those steps, even though I know it is a huge inconvenience to your student. And as I said, under any other circumstances, asking your child to either stay in their room or leave their dorm in some way would be totally unacceptable. But because of this, this pandemic has been unpredictable, as we know. And so, but to answer the question in short, we do not anticipate housing and food service shutting down, and there's not a hard and fast September 30th deadline for any kind of refunds or anything like that. Okay, next question. What if my child's in-person class is missed due to quarantine? That is a great question. I'm going to link a really helpful information bulletin that is posted online for the University of Mississippi that kind of goes through different quarantine guidelines for what students are supposed to do while they're in quarantine. But in short, I would recommend if your student is, or if they do have to quarantine at some point this semester, to almost as soon as possible reach out to each of their professors and let them know that they're in quarantine. Obviously, attendance policies in classes look much different than they normally do. But letting the professors know that you're in quarantine and those professors will make arrangements for students that are in quarantine. For instance, in my classes, I teach in-person hybrid sections of EDHE 105 on Tuesday, Thursday. And so what I've been doing is I've already had students in quarantine. I've just been recording myself giving the lecture and uploading that to YouTube and sending them the link so they can keep up with the in-person portion of our class, even though they're not able to physically be there. And if that is the case for other in-person classes, those professors are well aware that they're going to have students that aren't able to be in person during quarantine. We have a lot of patience for that, and we are making sure to deliver all the same material as best we can to those students. But again, the most important thing is that if your child is in quarantine, please let the students know, and then let us know at FastTrack if we can be helpful. Okay, another question about dining here. So about the dining halls, I know that there's a limited availability of food stations at the moment. Do you know when and if the Rebel Market will be fully operational? So the Rebel Market is up and running. Day to day, what that looks like, it's just that it's day to day. But there are plenty of food options available in the Rebel Market. There's also places your child can use their meal plan available in the Union and in the Pavilion at Ole Miss that houses a Steak and Shake and Raising Cane's. So one thing I would recommend all your students doing, and again, I'll link this in the comments section of this video, is getting the app called Get, G-E-T. In that app, I have the little notes jotted down here. A student can order food to be delivered to them, especially if they're in quarantine. They have to get in their lunch order for the day by 10 a.m. and dinner by 3 p.m. And that when dinner is delivered to them, they can also click an extra box and add a cold breakfast option, so they can have dinner that night and then have breakfast in the morning. So the Get app is a way to access dining options during quarantine. And also, there will definitely be more food options as things are safer to, the CDC and on down the state have relaxed regulations on how that can be disseminated and how much can be available. But if your child's ever hungry or needs food or has questions, they can always email me and we will figure something out, I promise. Okay, here's another question. My student and many other FastTrack students in Burns Hall have been confused about whether they have a mentor through FastTrack or not. They have they received specific FastTrack information, and there seem to be activities, but it's unclear if they were mandatory or part of the orientation into FastTrack. Okay, so as I said before, your EHE 105 class is kind of your link to is your first link to FastTrack. If your student's either taught by a FastTrack academic mentor or one of our partner faculty, and those partner faculty have made your students aware of who their academic mentor is. And if they have questions or that's confusing, please send me an email at gray@olemiss.edu and we will get that figured out. And make sure that your student can be in touch with their academic mentor. We're certainly not, we're wanting students to contact us. All of our mentees are wanting, all of our mentors are wanting their mentees to contact them as much and as often as possible. And so if that's ambiguous to your child, please send me an email or have them reach out to their EHE 105 instructor and we can remedy that very quickly, I promise. As for activities in Burns for the living learning community, Emily Bagwell, our fabulous graduate assistant that is overseeing that LLC for this year, is planning activities for students in the Burns living learning community. Some specifically, but most of them are open to all FastTrack students. And the best way to find out, now those activities are not mandatory unless it is stated. I don't imagine there'll be too many mandatory activities this semester, but we're encouraged all students to participate in those activities if possible. The best way to find out about those is following our social media, which again is linked on this YouTube page. And, one of the, just kind of generally, when it comes to activities in FastTrack or just activities in general, what I've been telling students this semester is to just say yes. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is if a university sanctioned activity that is, meeting the protocols for safety and social physical distancing, if any kind of opportunity is your student gets invited to be a part of, or they see that they could be a part of, just say yes and do it. Right now, we need students as much as possible to safely be out of their dorm and interacting with each other. Obviously, safety and physical distancing and slowing the spread of COVID-19 is the priority, but we also want students to get out as much as they can. That's going to be the best thing they can do for their academics. That's going to be the best thing they can do for their mental health and just kind of their adjustment to this new place that is college for them. Okay, here's another question. I'm concerned about my student falling behind right off the bat under these circumstances because the student is in quarantine. For instance, she doesn't have all her books yet, and some of them are on back order during the bookstore, and because I'm concerned that she may have to repeatedly quarantine throughout the semester. That will make it difficult for her to keep up in her classes. So what advice would you give to parents and students for dealing with this disruption to their academics? Again, I know I said I'm going to sound like a broken record. It's communication, communication, communication. Letting your academic mentor know when you're in quarantine, letting your academic mentor know when you're having trouble getting books, and we can help figure out how to make that happen. That situation is going to look different for different students, just depending on what their circumstance is. But keeping in touch with your professors, if you go into quarantine, when you come out of quarantine, if you have to go back in, we hope those disruptions are minimal, but we recognize this is the nature of the situation we are in. So the more communication your student has with their professors in each of their classes, and also their academic mentor, we can help troubleshoot those and make sure our students don't fall behind. Okay, so another question from a FastTrack parent and guardian is, FastTrack classes are supposed to be small in numbers, so why would they not all be in person or at least hybrid? So that is a great question. So your child is in an EDHE 105 hybrid section, which means they are coming in person once a week on either a Tuesday or a Thursday. So for EDHE 105, all the classes are hybrid unless they have selected the option of being remote in that class. But the in-person classes, or most of the FastTrack sections are hybrid, and students are going once a week. Now, the other classes that are partner classes for this program, which would be Writing 101 for all of our students, and then either psychology or sociology. The decision for course delivery method is handed down by the academic deans and department chairs of each of the different disciplines at the University of Mississippi. So for instance, the dean or the department chair of writing and rhetoric, they came to a collaborative decision to offer all of their classes remotely this year. I believe the same thing is true for psychology and for most sociology classes as well. So unfortunately, well, yes, we know that that's a huge value of FastTrack, is having these small in-person classes for all three of the courses your child takes that are FastTrack, that are deemed FastTrack classes. We also have to be good partners and want to be, and it's easy to be good partners with these other departments, and they've generally have made decisions for the health and safety of their faculty and for effectively delivering their courses to their students, for those to be remote and sometimes online. And again, we recognize that's not ideal. Under normal circumstances, that would be unacceptable. But that's where we are right now, and we're hoping that changes very soon, just like I know all of you are. Okay, so a few more questions, and we're going to get out of here. I really appreciate y'all hanging with me. I know this is a long video. So my biggest, this question says, my biggest concern is in-person instruction, as we just talked about. My student struggles with the learning difference and has been approved for accommodations. As we search for the best fit for our student, we chose the University of Mississippi because of the size and personal care you all provide students. The resources offered on campus through smaller class instructions and writing labs for individual help are vital to my child's success. My biggest concern and question for you is, will this service be available for students like mine? So the answer is, in short, is yes. Obviously, as we just talked about, the small in-person instruction is not able to happen as often as we would like and as it would normally. But I think this parent hit right on the head when she said that, they chose the University of Mississippi because of its personal care for students that we have, and that hasn't changed. That pandemic can't change that. This university and FastTrack specifically is extremely dedicated to helping students, maybe especially those that may have some learning differences or are needing some kind of extra help, and also just adjusting to college. So we're still providing that, and the main way to do that again is for a student to reach out to their academic mentor and set up time to talk to them and make a plan that works for them, an individualized plan for how they're going to attack the semester. If your child has accommodations that they have that they feel are not being honored, the best thing to do is reach out to sds.olemiss.edu. That's the Student Disability Services department. They are an amazing group of professionals that want to that advocate for students with learning differences to make sure they're accommodated. Now, obviously, that's all these accommodations look a little different because of the alternative deliveries of classes, but we are 100% committed to helping all students succeed. But we need to know if there are specific things we can do for your students. So reaching out to me, reaching out to your academic mentor is a great way to do that. She also, the person that asked this question also mentioned writing labs. So in Writing 101, I should have asked Ms. Buckley to talk about this a little bit, and I failed to do that, and I apologize. That was a mistake on my part and unacceptable. But I can tell you, the Writing Center at Ole Miss, if you just go to writing.olemiss.edu, you will see a link for the Writing Center. The Writing Center is a fabulous, just beautiful resource for students for all students that is free, and it is underutilized historically. And a lot of students realize sometimes too late, unfortunately. And so I want your students to go ahead and start taking advantage of their services right now. The Writing Center, while they're doing everything remote right now, is not a place just for students to come in, to show up with a completed paper that they just need checked for grammar and spelling and make sure all their lowercase j's are crossed. Now, it can do that. They absolutely proofread papers all the time. But the Writing Center is there to help students throughout the process of writing a paper or some other kind of assignment. The student identifies maybe 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, that they have an assignment and they just want help getting started. You can book a session and just say, hey, here's the assignment I have, and I just want to talk through like how I should attack it. They help students create outlines and really make a plan for how to write the paper. And then as they're writing the paper, they can check back in and make more appointments. And the Writing Center can help them throughout the entire process to ensure they make that they make a grade that they're happy with. So it takes a lot of planning on the front end, whether in a pandemic or not, to write good papers. It's very rare. I know some of you probably have students that are this talented. I know I certainly wasn't this talented to be able to just sit down the night before and crank out a paper that is A or B material. It takes time. But the good news is the Writing Center wants to help you through every part of that process. One of the hardest things to do is start a paper. And if you go to the Writing Center on the front end, they can help you start and think about and formulate how you want to attack the paper. So utilizing the Writing Center is so important. I cannot stress it enough. And that doesn't just, and that's not just, available for students for papers in their Writing 101 class or the DHE 105 class. It's available for all of their classes. So if they're in a history class, they're in a philosophy class, or any other type of class, and this is not just a freshman offering, they can use this the entire time they're at the University of Mississippi. They can go to the Writing Center and get help throughout their time at the University of Mississippi and throughout the duration of the paper. It's not just the last stop before you turn it in. It can be, but I recommend using it all the way throughout the process, especially as you're getting your students getting kind of comfortable with writing in college and how that works. Okay, so that is all the questions I had today. And some of you may have asked more specific questions that I responded to via email. If some of what I've talked about today or something that our guests talked about sparked other questions in you, please send me an email and I will work with you to get to a solution. Again, my name is Gray Flora, and my email address is gray@olemiss.edu. We're going to have another one of these videos, hopefully in 2 weeks, where we have more guests, and we're going to do that throughout the semester. And before I sign off, I just want to say thank you. Again, we're so grateful at FASTrack and at the University of Mississippi that you have chosen to stick with us during this unprecedented time. We really do not take lightly the trust you've placed in us to walk alongside your students as they make a successful transition from high school to college. And we really love what we do, and we really love getting to know all of your students. So thank you all so much. I'll see you again soon.